23rd of January 2020. Good morning from Europe and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Piotr here. It's my pleasure to prepare another update, market update for Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Right here, right now, we are going to discuss about the Australian dollar, Kiwi dollar, and Canadian dollar. So commodity block, currency commodity block in focus right here, right now. So let's jump straight into the chart without further delay. Let's start with Australian dollar. Let's start with the Australian job market. We got much better than what market was expecting, much better data, much better number. When it comes to the unemployment rate, 5.1 versus 5.2, change 28.9 versus 12.2 expected. So good number, and we see Australian dollar is bouncing, right? So I decided to cut some more, of course not at the dip. I woke up like somewhere here or here, somewhere in between current level. So I cut another part of my short position here on the Aussie yen. Now it looks like market is trying to react based on this possible demand. We also discussed quite a few times, but I still believe that the 1-to-1 to the downside like this still might be the case, and we are about to test levels close to 73.50, right? But because of the data, I see the possibility for a little bit higher levels, especially if the overall market sentiment will turn around. We've seen a little bit of the weakness yesterday towards the US close, a little bit of the red, and the worst ever China stocks closed at the end of the lunar year. So well, we'll see. Now, based on this particular currency pair, Aussie yen, I'm looking for a actually few things. In case of the failure, meaning that in case we are going to get at some point another upper shadow but close below the trend line, let's something like here, I may renew a little bit or tiny short. I might renew, right? If that's not gonna be the case, if we are going to get the close above the line, I'm going to cut the rest and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for retest of that zone again, right? To try to reopen. Okay, so that's how I see the things on the Aussie yen side. So here I'm still negative and see possibility of the lower levels. All right, so that's the first thing first, post UK, post Aussie or Australian job market. Now we are awaiting New Zealand CPI later during the day, right? So let's have a look what we have when it comes to the almost like neighbor fight, right? I'm talking about the Aussie Kiwi right here, right now. And market is trying to hold 103.50, 103. All right. So the main question is if we are about to see something similar, right? If the combination of the good Australian data and market is expecting weaker inflation. So the question here is if that's gonna be some kind of the hint for the market when it comes to the next RBNZ move, right? But of course here, because the data announcement is towards the end of the day, I would say it's gonna be smart way to wait and see towards the end of the day. And if the market is going to be able, to avoid upper shadow here, right? To avoid upper shadow and to have strong close instead, right? Above 104.30, 104.50, okay? Then really we might see some higher levels. We might see some higher levels towards 106 as a next possible move. But in that case, a little bit of the more patience is needed in my opinion. So we have the bearish case for Aussie when it comes to Aussie yen. We have some neutrality when it comes to Aussie Kiwi. Let's have a look on another Aussie cross. So if you are overall bullish on Australian dollar, then Aussie CAD could be the choice, right? If you remember yesterday, there was a Bank of Canada rate decision with the statement, with the press conference, and the dovish case, that was the market takeaway. The Canadian dollar been hit well strongly, right? So when it comes to that particular currency pair, well, I wouldn't say that we are going to see 95, well, but short term I think that we might agree that there was some kind of we still are inside the consolidation phase, right? So taking that thing into the consideration, the retest of 91.50, 92, okay, still might be the case, okay? So well, the good Australian data, and as you can see here, right from the start of the day, we have very, very strong move to the upside. So the bottom of the day and the levels a little bit below as a levels where I'm going to place my stop. But what about possible entry? Let's switch to the lower time frame, okay, and let's have a look what we have here. So I see two possibilities here. Either because we are above 90 level, so either we are going to hold 90.20 somewhere around here, right? So just very shallow pullback, like maybe 1 to 1, something like this, and rally from here. All right. There is a second thing. All right. We've seen this rally base continuation, so stronger pullback towards the base and the rally from here, right? And that's 91.50, 92 as a possible target for Aussie CAD. All right. Overall, I see further Canadian dollar weakness. I see a little bit of the stabilization neutrality when it comes to the Aussie, and the answer in regards to the Kiwi we are going to get later today, post CPI announcement. With that being said, we discussed the commodity block, we discussed the correlation between all of them. Later, over the course of this week, or maybe at the beginning of the next week, I'm going to prepare, once we have the full picture post New Zealand CPI, I'm going to prepare Aussie, Kiwi, Canadian dollar, loonie versus other currencies like yen, euro, dollar, or pound. All right, guys, it was my pleasure to make this update for you. Don't forget, today is a ECB day, and don't forget to subscribe to like Forex Global YouTube channel, because I'm gonna to get back with some euro analysis before ECB announcement. Take care and goodbye.